drink the tea.
But anyway, before we play the film, long story short, the sales agent took advantage. Like, I remember we sent the contract to Scottish Screen, and you got one consultation with a lawyer, and he was like, do not sign this contract for the love of God. But and at the last minute in the phone call, he's like, but because you're a first-time filmmaker, you know, what are you going to do? It sounds like no one else is going to take it. And trust me, no one else was going to take it. So we signed on the dotted line, and Camelot Entertainment made a lot of money.
And for those of you who are
Herbals.
still awake, we're going to start watching the movie now.
Yeah, and this is actually big shout out to Lindsay Cromar, whose feet got blistered like such an insane amount from getting dragged across wooden floors for about the 50 takes that Dave takes to do one shot.
And I think
that was Alistair Cook's cameo we just missed.
You see him again. There we go.
Performance as a scientist, I believe.
Nazi scientist.
Now, Alistair, did...
Oh, a shame he's cut off.
What's the backstory?
We missed half of that. You broke up.
Basically, what's the backstory behind your character? I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to say.
I'm an evil Nazi scientist. Is there a backstory to an evil Nazi scientist?
Yeah,
we know they exist.
Ali, was that your real glasses?
No, somebody turned up with those. They were actually an old pair. Somebody turned up. It was somebody with an old pair of proper proper old World War II glasses.
Alan Fraser. It would have been Alan Fraser. Who played the priest.
Now, so do you remember they give us like $3,000 to add in a lot of these action scenes? This was one of them, and we shot this. We shot this at Blair. And remember the guy, he's like, whatever you do, don't go out to the restaurant dressed as Nazis. And what does everyone do? They're outside smoking and everyone dressed as Nazis and all that, but
I think I have a...
Clearing the glass from the floor.
Is one of the victims in this scene, eye to eye, face down or something?
Did you?
I think so, yeah.
That was your best acting. Now that crate, I remember, Liam, in my head, I was like, a crate like this.
It's Ian Hingston's shot as well as the Nazi commander.
Yeah, we're like, what's German for in the water? In the water.
Schnell.
Hey!
Oh my
God. So
now,
Steve,
this scene here, this was originally the beginning of the movie before we shot the Nazi scene.
Steve.
Well,
this was the actual intro.
Let's just introduce Steve before you yap on. So this is Steve, who you played, if I remember, Russell.
Russell, yeah.
And now 10 years later, we're sitting here talking about it.
Wow. Dave's managed to now finally figure out the whole idea of this thing.
And the worst thing is Steve's hair looks like it's still perfectly jet black. So I'm trying to think, because we're already...
Steve! Lovely shirt!
Thank you very much. I didn't detect any sarcasm whatsoever.
No, it's genuinely a lovely shirt. Looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger's shirt in The Running Man when he's walking through the airport.
Awesome.
So we're probably just going to jump into it, Steve, because we're... So, like, I don't know if you noticed, guys, but I recut when I put this film out to a Scottish company for Amazon Prime, and I recut the movie and I shortened it. So this is the shortened version. So just in case you're like, what?
Stop putting words in Steve's mouth.
Now, this is, I remember her mother, Kathleen, who was sitting with her mother.
Her mother, Kathleen was sitting with her mother?
Yeah, there.
Oh. So Angela and Kathleen. And
that's right, Angela, of course, yeah. Angela and, yeah, they all came down this day.
Dave's father-in-law as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think when you come in here, Steve. When is it? It's a bit further on.
Not later, because we've got to go. Dave, have you even watched this film before? They've got to go to the grandfather's house first.
I haven't watched this for a long time.
Well, you should remind yourself of what you've inflicted.
I actually remember as well. That's like Callum that's playing Jackson McGregor, and the amount of like he was getting, there would be not shoot scenes where he was getting like barged into and everything, and there was like people all just basically throwing hate at him, and like one day shoot meets these people, and then
And this was Margaret. I remember. Oh, she was brilliant. I remember.
Yeah, she was good.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's awesome.
And Steve, do you still keep in contact with her?
No, I've not spoken to her for years. No, I'd love to find out what she's up to.
And that's Jimmy from. Is that Jimmy? His name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great actor. Great actor. Big shout out to Jimmy.
And the weird thing about him is that's the way he talks in real life.
Well, everyone used their real accents in this movie, David. I think you'll find.
Oh, I thought it was called acting. There you go. But
in most cases, certainly not.
Dave, you can't hire actors for £1,000. Not on that budget. If you had more than £1,000, the Roadrunner would have been played by De Niro.
I actually reached out to Callum and Claire and asked them, but they said they had a wine tasting live event tonight, so they clearly made.
Why are we not invited to that? Let's go to that, Richard.
Yeah, I was saying they made the right choice.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a made-up excuse. Here's us sitting here with no lives, nothing to do.
So this was in Ben. Was this in Ben's house? Who plays the killer in Redwood Massacre?
Yeah.
And that's not his house,
Now,
obviously.
Which castle's that, David? Which castle's that?
Crawford's Castle, is it?
Yeah,
that's the one.
And then that's Portlethen Golf Course, and that's Barry McIntosh's golf clubs.
Oh, is
and
it?
Here's Liam, the great Liam Matson. Didn't you wear that same kilt for about a year, Liam?
Yeah, that's why I don't wear kilts anymore. I get fed up with
And
it.
I said to you, I was like, I've got 3 kilts for the film premiere. Let's go in a kilt. And you said, I'm never wearing a kilt again.
You make sure they don't increase their income.
I even still have that hat. It's sitting right beside me.
Now that's the actor there's Dan Greavy, which we were actually, remember, we were shooting a commercial maybe 2 months ago, and who's playing Santa Claus, Steve? Dan. I was like,
oh, what is his walk? His comedy walk?
Yeah, he's like Laurel and Hardy in the background.
This is
Liam's tribute to Happy Gilmore.
And this is the funny thing, Liam was supposed to pot those shots. That's how bad he was.
This is the funny thing, is this is David's mother-in-law.
That's right, it's my wife's mother.
And he was basically saying, like, I remember, like, they were saying, like just remind, like, Lorraine came over and she's like, just so you know, like, my mum doesn't like swearing. And Lorraine went away, and David came over and was like, swear your head off.
Yeah.
I cooked that breakfast. That breakfast was just. I spent 2 hours lovingly cooking that breakfast, and it's got like 1 shot in the film.
It took you 2 hours to make a fry-up. Jesus.
Yeah.
No wonder you don't have a restaurant.
Under a lot of pressure. I beat my record. Yeah, true.
Now, I got to ask you guys this, because at the time, we were all, well, I would say we're younger. We were like, well, I was in my maybe about 30, but Steve, especially Steve, Richard, Liam, you guys had to give up your weekends for nearly a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. I had to sacrifice a lot of drinking days making this movie.
I mean,
Probably
before-
catch out
This
of
fat
jail.
guy on screen.
Oh, here he is.
Hey!
Yay!
Where
The start of the bromance.
I know we got
Number one
that
lobster capture.
the aprons from Asda, but did you come up with a shirt in that, Steve?
Yeah, I just like raided my drawers and just grabbed some stuff that I wouldn't mind getting
You had a
covered
shirt in
in
your
whatever. Yeah.
It's good to see you, man.
Yeah,
So
the thing is as well, like this is the sort of start of like the Russell is the loyal puppy, because all you do is get kicked throughout this entire movie, and
Yeah.
you just keep coming back.
Kind of like in real life, really.
Oh, doesn't get invited to the Zoom thing on time, David.
So when does Lee Hutchins turn up in this
Right
next
now.
scene?
Oi, Danny.
Yeah. This is
No.
one of the most memorable characters in the whole film.
Maybe we can
Danny
talk
the
about
Pincer, played by Lee Hutchins.
Lee
Now
Hutchins.
here's a funny
Give us the facts, Dave. Give us
here's
the
a
facts.
funny thing. He's wearing a
Oh,
green.
you put pressure on yourself.
He's wearing a green version of the Redwood Massacre costume.
That was your facts. You're not going to talk about.
That's the fact. I actually went back to the shop for Red Massacre and just bought the red version.
It's probably a fact.
So nothing to do with the hair extensions being his girlfriend.
His hair extensions are from his girlfriend.
His tattoo that he's got, his lobster tattoo. He sat in his car, before we started shooting, drawing that on with a pencil.
That's right. Yeah.
But never mind. We'll get to the green redwood costume.
I think maybe on the real day, Callum was maybe a bit like, who's this guy? Because I mean, Lee.
I think more like, no, I actually think Callum was like, all right, it's cool, he's an actor, he's cool, I'm going to act up as this actor. Not knowing the fact that if he said anything out of line to Lee, he's probably going to kill him.
And I think Lee improvised maybe a few lines towards the end of the scene.
A few, Jesus, you pillow-biting bastard.
Yeah.
You mean all that swearing wasn't in the script?
Only about 30%.
Is he call him a Wankstein?
What about Steve? Had you met Lee Hutchin before doing this?
Only very, very briefly. He wrote me into doing some random sex scene in a car in the woods for a short film.
Oh my God, I remember that. Yeah, you had a sex scene in his film. He never released it. He finished it and never released it.
Was the sex scene that
as well? Because nobody needs to see that.
That's right. And
I think we do. Next week, by the way, our live fiction event is going to be that movie.
The sex scenes of Steve Worsley.
Who was your partner in the film, in the sex scene?
I don't know. It was somebody I literally met about 5 minutes before we did the scene.
I remember.
What was the guy's name?
Mark Wood.
Mark Wood's in this movie, actually.
Mark Wood's actually in the chat as well.
Oh, it's right. He's got a cameo. Yeah.
Someone.
See, I had to beat up Mark Wood in that sex scene.
That's right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
What?
But then I had to be coached on violence because apparently I wasn't kicking him furiously enough.
That's right. I remember that, Steve, because I tell you why. Because the girl was the same. She was like, "You want me to do what?" He's like, "Yes, the sex scene in the car, and then you come out and beat up the guy." I was like, because I was filming it, I was like, "Okay, this gonna be interesting."
So Steve, you went from beating off to beating up in one scene.
Pretty much, yeah.
So,
Can I ask a question? Ali, how different do you find the movie from the script that you wrote? Because you wrote a massive amount of stuff for this movie.
I think the biggest change was at the start, because we had a whole exposition at the start of him losing his job and losing his girlfriend and losing his house and everything else.
But that was all shot as well, though.
That was most of that was shot. Yeah. I think that's probably one of the biggest changes, but it's hard to remember. I don't know if I even have the original script lying around anywhere.
The one thing I remember was you had Bennett as like this 6'5", like muscle-bound freak that would pick up Jackson with one hand while he beat him with a golf club in the other hand, and like, and I was just like, because me and Dave were struggling for ages to find the character of Bennett, and I just remember it one day, like Dave was like, "Do you want to play Bennett?" I'm like, "I don't know, like, should I?" And it was, but that's when we kind of. You still had the idea that he was a laird and everything, but then we kind of threw in the whole kilt and all the rest of it. But
yeah, I mean, that was for sales, wasn't it? You put a Scotsman in a kilt to sell it.
But you remember, we actually filmed stuff outside the Norter Castle. We filmed a lot of stuff.
They made a deal.
It was really windy. It was mega windy.
Yeah,
we probably shot
a deal, and then Jackson poured out the whiskey.
Yeah, and we probably shot 110-minute movie and cut it down 80 minutes.
Yeah, because my original camera was in Dunaughter Woods.
That's right. Ali was in it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And that was maybe a problem with the short, because we'd only done short films, not understanding the pacing of movies. So we're just shooting and shooting and shooting. And then we're like, holy shit, this is way too long and boring.
Dave, what was that guy's name?
Now, David, what did we use for the Nazi tea? All brand.
That was high brand.
Remember?
It wasn't
all brand.
No, it wasn't Kellogg's All Brand, because we couldn't afford that. It was as the high brand. It was the rip-off version.
Wait. Here comes me.
I remember you were tied to Murray Duncan's Land Rover for this somehow.
I was tied to it. tied to the back of a truck so it could pick up speed, and Dave filmed from the truck, and I had to sit there and I was asleep or whatever. Highly dangerous stunt.
I was running alongside you so you wouldn't go into the wall.
Yeah, like you're gonna catch me but flip over.
I wasn't going to catch you, I basically push you away from the wall. That's all I was planning on doing.
Oh my god, and that was Dorothy. Remember Dorothy? She was, yeah.
This is like a mix of like the towns that David and I grew up in. This is an alley. This is the mix of just random people that we could get to be in the movie.
Do you remember some guy was furious? We set up camera tracks across that street.
He kept coming out and complaining. Yeah. Didn't he call the police one day? I'm sure he called the police one time.
I might have threatened to. I don't think we ever dealt with the police in this one.
Yeah, we did when we were doing Richard in the wheelchair scooter. The police got called.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I had an axe and I was like sharpening a stick and I was covered in blood, and the policeman poked his head over the fence and I was like, "It's okay, we're making a movie." And he went, "I was just checking," and then walked away.
And as you turn around to your victim and start stabbing them.
Yeah. So if you're a serial killer and you're burying a body and you get caught by the cops, just say, "You're ruining the scene. We're making a movie."
That was a prime example of how cheap this movie was that was Glen's vodka you were drinking. Not even Smirnoff. It was fucking Glen's.
I was like, "David, the Roadrunner would not drink Glen's. I need Smirnoff." It wasn't even vodka, it was water. I was highly disappointed.
I gotta say now, this is in Newton Hill Beach.
Permission to come aboard, Captain.
Thanks, Dave. Well,
that's it. That's my fact.
Wow, that's amazing.
Tourism by David Keith.
I remember. Was there not this scene? Oh no, that actually isn't the way I was trying to think. Yeah, because I remember shooting this on this day. We were just like down at the beach. I think a lot of this is made up, isn't it, Steve? There was some of this was in the script. But a whole bit when you talk about
a general just.
Hey, look, it's all right, man. I know.
Yeah, we just got sort of like a general just to what we wanted out the scene, and then just kind of went for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was you were working on a fishing boat. And all we could get was a rowboat.
Just randomly.
He's like, his whole idea is he's going to take that boat and he's going to leave Lobster Cove, go to America.
The open sea.
And he did. At the end of the movie, the rowing boat came into play. That's how he escaped.
And that's what you call amazing script writing, Richard. See how it all went?
Yes, Ballister. No thanks to you, David.
My favourite jokes in this scene. The Bowen Sea.
Drew Muse is hoping that he's going to be in Attack of the Herbals too, by the way, since he got cut out of the original Attack of the Herbals.
I'm surprised Drew's not in this one.
Yes, he was. He was, but you cut him out. He was running alongside.
Oh, remember that? Yeah, that was the cut wheelchair scene where Steve was behind me.
That's right.
And I was like miraculously speeding along the road.
And instead, we put Steve in the front of a forklift, but we'll get to that later.
Now, I'm not sure they were that happy with filming here. I remember we organised it.
Yeah, with the left.
But when it was quite early in the morning, if I remember.
They were not.
And actually, Steve, I don't know, you probably don't notice this, but on the actual release, I got you to double the scenes because the audio was kind of messed up. But when I re-released it on Amazon, I had the technology to actually go back in and clean up your original dialogue. So wait, silence.
We
so here we come.
Pay a tribute to.
This was, I believe, the first scene that I filmed as the Roadrunner, and I had to grow a moustache. I got spray painted by David's girlfriend at the time, now his wife, spray painted orange. And David picked out this running outfit. David's like, "We're going to dress you up as a professional runner." And I'm like, "David, what does that entail?" And he bought this ridiculous outfit that I had to actually wear. And this was filmed, what location was this, David?
Ooh, Sports Village in Aberdeen, Scotland.
So this was what distance were you running that you did 7 seconds?
Probably 10 meters.
And we're disappointed that it had taken you 7 seconds.
Scott Miller cameo.
That's right.
Lamar cameo. Now, this scene here, this was actually filmed at the Baker Hughes 10K. This was an actual race with about 10,000 people. And I had to walk around looking like Freddie Mercury with anorexia, walking around pointing at people.
And this event always is like a big event in Aberdeen, so they had the front page newspapers, and you're on the front page of like the Evening Express with all these like runners like standing there.
There's an actual picture of me, and it says, I've got the picture hanging up, and it says record-breaking runners, and I'm right at the front running. Those guys were fucking fast. They were so fast.
The thing is,
got steamrolled.
You had to jump in the front at the last second, remember? We had the camera, and then we were like, right, go. Yeah. And they're all looking at you going, who the hell's this guy?
Yeah, I was like eyeballing them in character, and they're looking at me like, whoa, this guy must be a professional athlete. No, sir. Now, this scene here,
was this
when we filmed that snowed the night before, David wanted me to wear the shorts and T-shirts that I wore in the previous scene. And I was like, David, it's absolutely freezing. I'll wear a jogging outfit. It was actually a really fun scene to film. But this was filmed about 4 months after the previous scene. So I had to grow back that ridiculous mustache, get spray painted again. And one of these snowballs, Liam, you were throwing snowballs, almost hit my head. So that was me getting nailed by a car. Boom! The end of the Roadrunner.
That's where we should have just killed you. We should have just ended it there. He's dead.
When we first wrote that was acted out with action figures on the table in the pub. Remember, Dave? It was going to be a ridiculously silly scene where Steve sat there with 2 action figures and a toy car, and
well,
represent the whole scene.
Because he pulled out his pocket and was like,
why'd you have that shit? Yeah.
We should have done that because we would have got a better performance out of the Roadrunner using toys.
less wood and less plastic.
Yeah, David, unfortunately, they don't do action figures or directors. Otherwise, we could have replaced you.
That's not true. I've got a Kevin Smith action figure here.
Yeah, David, you've been replaced.
They do action figures of good directors, right?
I see.
Here's Claire. This is a real obvious. Claire and Callum, they're now married. I'm not sure if they were married back then.
No,
so obviously this was just a picture.
I think they were engaged.
No, they met. They met on Herbals. It's the Herbals.
They met on set.
No, they never. They were a couple before Herbals.
Oh my God, Richard! I never knew you were so passionate about their relationship.
I just want people to get their facts right.
This was all dubbed.
Going out to 10 people. We need to get our facts right.
I don't even know.
Not tens yet.
No, we're still in this.
I'm sacrificing my sleep for nothing.
Oh God, people are gonna be hearing your voice. It's like won't be able to sleep tonight. So, God, Dave's got the toilet break.
What are you doing back in
Okay, let's talk about the atrocious direction in this film. So this was filmed in the old post office.
Yeah,
is that correct, Liam? Old post office in Port Lethen, or was it Newton Hill?
Newton Hill.
Newton Hill, and I'm so apologetic. I can't remember the guy who owned that place because he passed away. And he was an amazing guy. He was just like, yeah, okay. And as he was watching it, as he saw the film, he kind of thought it was quite upsetting because it was almost like a mirror of real life because the post office was getting forced to shut down, or with all the pressure was on. He just kept it open for the hell of it. We kind of got the orders into the milk and that for like the old ladies and stuff around the corner and stuff. But it was quite weird.
Well, it's a good way to keep the legacy of the post office alive then, because like nobody else featured the post office in a movie that we know about anyway.
And I think it's gone now.
What happened to the post office?
I think it's gone. I think it's closed.
Yeah, it's a little house. It's part of a house now, I think.
Yeah, so I think it's so. This is the legacy of that post office. You're right, Richard.
So wait a minute, guys. Has anyone actually shared this off of the Herbals page?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Dave, these are things you say before we go live because it looks a bit unprofessional.
Have you seen this movie, Richard?
Yeah, David, you should have stayed in the toilet. You're just coming back saying random stuff, stumbling about.
But
It's
yeah,
just
that-
like we're making a movie with you again.
Right, where are we? That was
Who's,
The
Dave.
dog's just
who's
been
this
eaten.
guy again?
He was called Crazy Dave. Now, because he was so good at
Why
playing
was he
crazy
called
people,
Crazy Dave?
because he was playing a crazy person.
Oh,
Forgot to change the post
convenient
office name there,
casting then.
Dave.
yeah, I know.
Yes.
You can't do.
I've never
if the
noticed that
camera's
one
moving.
before.
If the camera's moving, you can't change the name of something.
That's,
so it's good.
He
was
can
my
now.
limit.
Superstar director there.
Yeah.
What is Kevin Smith coming?
Can't let Bennett do this to me. The house is all they've got.
Now, Steve, was it your decision to wear a beanie? Did you actually think, this is going to get cold? Because we started filming in the summer, but the winter was fast coming in.
No, it was actually it was because of my hair. Because I knew that this film was going to take like a year or so to make. So I thought just for continuity, if I wore a hat, then it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, like when Callum got his hair cut.
Yes,
shaved
well.
it off filming.
That's right. Callum says, I'm going for a light trim, and came back with a skinhead.
Is that not what forced us to put extra scenes in the film with the other characters?
Yeah, well, actually, that led to putting Richard in a lot more scenes.
Oh God, Callum, you bastard!
That's Lee doing his usual nice language.
Thanks, Dave. So,
It's not difficult to pretend to be intimidated by him on screen.
Yeah, he's pretty full on, isn't he? He's like, I'm still amazed I got him to do this. I really am. He put himself out there.
it's a good role for him, you know, like in terms of like the how like flamboyant the character is. He's cool. Oh yeah, that's the bit I always laugh at, Steve. There's something I think you should see. It's like, whoa, okay.
That's where all the dog shit was, wasn't it?
Yeah, David managed to find all the dog shit.
On screen. Oh, we've
Ooh.
lost Richard.
Oh,
That's why
my God. I wondered why it's so peaceful. I'm like,
Quiet.
oh, Jesus.
We'll see if he tries to pop back in or if he falls asleep.
I saw Mr. McCandless pull out the seat.
That's the price, all brand.
Was weed.
It is Albran. I always remember that. It's because if we look at the price of all the stuff, and the thing was as well, like it's supposed to be the idea that it's quite full, but like I don't even know if we had enough. I think we only had enough to sprinkle the bottom. Essentially, it was like a couple of boxes.
That is good. I know.
Yeah, I remember someone actually tried to spray paint a Nazi symbol and all that, and it was in an earlier cut, or maybe the one that came out.
I think it's at the bottom. When they empty it, you see the Nazi.
You do see it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you see it in this one
Why not?
because I cut it out.
Why would you cut that out?
German.
So the one thing that never made sense to me, even as one of the writers, is
No,
if
don't you dare say that.
that letter's in German, how does it
Yeah.
takes the German a long time to
Well, the thing is, as well,
read
is that the one things that somebody said to me, and I was like, oh damn it, that's a total missed opportunity, was that the priest is Kurt Schwarzenberger, and that would have been like a completely convenient but very, good twist.
This
Yeah.
is another one. I don't even know how we convinced Alan to be in this film.
Well,
Like we must have explained it at some point, and he
No.
was like, "Okay, yeah."
he's like he was a massive influence on my life, Alan Fraser, and a very, very good friend, my primary 7 teacher. And I remember we spoke to him because we wanted to play Jimmy, the grandfather.
Oh, I love scouting for
Yeah,
I
and it
gave
was
him the script. He's like, I can't play that. I'm a school teacher because all the swearing. And he says, and I was like, well, can you do a German accent? He's like, I'll give it a shot. And that's how it ended up.
Can I help you?
He ended up in the movie. But he was really proud of this film. He passed away a few years back, and he was very, very proud of this movie. And his wife, I went to his funeral, and his wife stopped me and says, thank you for casting him in Thank the Herbals. He's very proud of the film. And I was just like, oh my God, thank you. That's amazing. So I toast my good friend Alan Fraser.
even though maybe he's a baddie in the movie now. I'm thinking about it.
Well, he doesn't translate the letter straight away.
Yeah, he could have
Still.
just told it. You'd have been like, it's from the Nazis. Don't drink it. Don't put, you know.
But then how is he going to know that? You probably deleted out. You would have deleted the top corner of that letter that had the Nazis, the swastika stamp as well, since you deleted it from the movie.
Look, if I was living in Spain and someone gave me a letter in English and they're like, "Can you translate this?" I'd be like, "Yeah." It says, you know, save a lot of time.
I was thinking I've heard that name before.
Steve, you threw in all the lines in this with the priest jokes.
Oh, that was so much fun. It's my favourite movie.
Let's look out here for just the buggers or something.
Let's go before he tries to bugger us. You were ahead of the trend, Steve.
Yes. Yeah, I was ahead of the Catholic Church there.
Stay ahead of them. It's always the best
Ahead
plan.
or the head.
Oh, here he is.
Russ,
My VPN cut
that
out.
won't be enough. We need more
What cow?
VPN. Is-
My VPN cut out.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
went to the toilet and I came back and now I'm smoking a cigarette.
Wow.
That's all caught up now.
I don't think anyone's left in the room. Awesome.
What room? In the live video?
Actually, the numbers went up when Richard dropped off.
Not surprised.
We're peaking at double figures
That's
now.
because I'm not in the. There's none of my scenes playing. That's why.
So there's Murray. He was the sound man. Oh no, was he the sound man?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the sound man.
Yeah.
This is the montage of everybody that we know.
That's pretty much all the
Yeah.
money I had back then.
Yeah.
So half the budget.
That was budget. So that bar restaurant that you showed there, the Anchor. I'm just going to throw this in there because I lived down there for a while. Does some great food now.
Yeah.
Man,
And
the food
Yeah,
out of
they
that
probably-
place is good.
They probably
I
did
got-
it before the virus, you know. The
I got to
virus.
give a shout out to the Newton Hill pub as well because they were really accommodating, even though we cut out a lot of the stuff. But we never had any problems, and actually we never had any problems where we were filming because they didn't know what we were doing. But remember when we got invited back to John's Haven years later?
Oh.
Like they were like, some people were like, "Look, we're not very happy about the village being associated with this movie." We were like,
They didn't like the way they didn't like the way they were portrayed. Even though the
Dave,
films.
Dave, a lot of the actors were not happy about being associated with the movie. It's not just the locations.
The people at John's Haven, where the film was mainly shot, were not happy that they were portrayed in the way that they were.
Well, they have an international reputation to maintain.
Well, the funny
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
of course.
lobsters, yeah.
And I think also if you type in "Attack the Herbals," I think it comes up with John's Haven and Google and all that now. So
Well, it's free advertisement for them.
Yeah.
Well,
For the people that do the holiday trip that go around all Dave's locations.
I got to ask you, Richard, in this scene, was it a choice for you to act this bad?
Dave, it's all down to the direction. It's the director.
Oh, so I was like this, Richard, I want you to act terrible in this scene. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
One line.
No, Dave. The only direction that you gave was can you look confused in this scene? Can you look more confused?
And by the way, hello to John Simpson and to Drew, the deleted herbal.
Delete.
That's what he should have been credited as, the deleted herbal.
May as well get into character.
That's actually my wife's mother, her mum.
Well, thanks, Dave. Thanks for clarifying that twice.
That's okay, you're welcome.
I remember we
Where's
shot
these
right.
stupid fucking facts? They're too hot.
This was the scene that we shot like basically we had 30 minutes to shoot it, and Dan and I basically like shot to the scene, the location with Dave, and shot this stuff, and it was like a one take wonder sort of thing.
And now
Is that
that
Hillside?
place, yeah, it's like where the shopping centre is in Port Lethen, the smaller one.
You don't even make any money.
Well, sir, it would appear that might not be entirely accurate.
Over the last day or two.
Right, where the Co-op and the Pizza Express is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Domino's. Come on.
Thanks, Ali.
And now I'm fucking hungry.
How could they be making profit? I tell you what, you write up the paperwork, and tomorrow
Your eyes are watering in this scene when you watch it on the big TV.
It was. I think I was looking at
Pretty cold.
sunset.
I remember the scene. It was very cold.
It was the quality of writing had him in tears. The emotional connection to the role.
Tears of laughter.
I
You
think
want us
there-
to say that?
Yeah, there's a lot of the comedy in this movie that is probably offensive nowadays. Let's put it that way.
This was.
Which parts are offensive?
Where do I begin? Let's start with Lee. Now, I remember
Everything's offensive these days, Dave. So,
That was
yeah.
Murray's.
his car's missing the inside of the
I
door.
saw a car for sale that had literally the same thing. I don't think they sell the inside of the doors.
There must be, honestly, so much swearing in this movie.
What was
Oh,
the
it
name of
is.
the old- What was the name of the old boy that was at the front? Remember, he's this fight scene that Richard had. With the,
I can't remember.
No, Steve, you had the fight scene with the old boy.
Yeah, I had to smash him in the face with his walking stick.
Yeah. And I just, he was like,
I had to play a stunt double. Remember,
he
I
not-
put on his
yeah,
hat and his jacket.
was he not like 83 or something? And then it's just so funny seeing the difference. By the way, I've got this I want to point this out, right? Richard and I had a scene together in Croutons 2
This
where
scene?
we had in
Oh,
Croutons 2
Croutons
where we had we couldn't look at each other in the face. So I want to say well done to Richard and myself for being able to pull
Yeah.
this off because we could
But
not.
because we were dreading this because
Yeah,
in Croutons
yeah.
2 that we made 10 years previous, it took 3 hours for us to deliver 2 lines face to face.
Yeah.
And this was like 2 pages of dialogue.
And
And
I
I'm like,
remember-
how the fuck are we going to get through this?
And we were really were. I was like really like scared that I was going to mess this up, and we wouldn't get through it. And it was actually
And plus, our faces had to come into close proximity to each other, and I had to pretend to grab your dick. And I was like, "This has been set up for failure."
But that's how
But
we
we
got
were
through
so
it.
professional.
But that's how we got through because we went total. We actually did that for real. So it was,
That's what I said. I told him it's off camera. He doesn't actually have to grab you there.
yeah, but we had
He
to do
still
it.
did it.
We had to get through that scene. The only way to do it was to go full method.
But why did you need so many rehearsals?
Method acting, David. Method acting.
Yeah.
You think in Brokeback Mountain, the 2 lead actors were not having sex? They actually did it. That's commitment.
I got to point out that this is definitely not your hair, Liam.
No, this is Catherine Murdoch's. I can't remember Catherine's married name.
But that's definitely my moustache. No mistake in that moustache.
But she shaved her head, so she had this wig, and I was like, "Can I wear that for the shoot?" And she's like, "Yeah." And the thing is, it didn't even fucking fit in my head. It literally was like,
Who are you? Who are you, Buffalo Bill? You're wearing other women's hair?
He puts
the
the
lotion in the
ointment.
basket.
Well, here's a good question for you, Richard. What it's probably a weird question, but I guess you got quite well.
Bring it
I
on.
guess
Bring it on.
you got quite good being in a wheelchair in a weird way. I know, people might find that weird, but for someone that's never been in a wheelchair, it's a lot harder to operate than you think.
Well, what appealed to me about playing the Roadrunner was the fact that he was disabled, and it meant I got to sit down for much of the shoot. But because my character had to roll around and I was getting chased for most of the movie, it was actually hard work. Moving around in a
What are you
wheelchair.
going on
I
about?
didn't
You
like
literally,
how
oh,
hard
that's
it was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be.
Okay, that's fair enough. But for your action scenes, you were towed. You were literally towed. So
I was told.
towed
Sorry.
by the car.
Not in all the scene, Dave. Don't mislead the audience. Much of the scenes, that was my own power that was moving myself around. I wasn't being told.
Good evening, sir.
Right.
Look at you
moving-
trying to undermine
on,
the
moving on.
performance that I did for your movie.
Okay.
Oh, he got towed.
I'd help you.
Was I getting towed in the flashback scenes when I had the moustache? That was actually me walking around.
Oh, Jesus.
If you weren't told, were you frog?
God.
That's what I thought he meant when he said toad.
I
I was
had to
like,
kill it
"Oh."
somehow, Liam.
Alan David Duncan says about the comments about Lee. Never mind offensive now. It was offensive 10 years ago.
I would like to point out that that was improvised, and we were just like, okay, moving on.
There goes the PG rating.
And I'll tell you really
Hold on
quickly,
again.
when they were trying to distribute the movie, they really struggled to figure out where this film sat, because they try to they try to market it as a zombie movie.
We'll put it in first.
No, but they were trying to market it as a zombie movie, and I was like, well, no, it's more like a black comedy. And they were like, well, and then you remember the Kiss of Death was when they put Hot Fuzz meets Shaun of the Dead on the cover, and that's what killed it for us.
Led people into thinking it's going to be a good movie.
The montage scene that we're doing here, that was shot at your granddad's house, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And your granddad was your biggest fan, like big time.
I think he was just sitting at the table at the side.
He was, because I remember when I was sat with him. He's an awesome guy. But yeah, you shot so many things, like, you know, and he always showed him, and he was like a big supporter of yours. So
I'm sure when we were filming this, he got like his neighbors round. You remember? Like the neighbors came in. He's like, they're making a film and all that. And I remember that it was Linda Salway doing the focus.
Oh, that's right. Jesus.
What's that, Richard?
Did any of them ask what the film was about? That would have been an interesting conversation.
Well, that was the problem with this whole movie in the end, wasn't it? If someone asked you what it was about.
It's a good thing.
Like David, what's the tagline for this movie? How do you sum up this movie in one line?
The tagline was "Action reaches boiling point." It's about tea.
What's the synopsis? What's the synopsis?
A man finds a mistake. It's on the back of the box, Richard. You need to check it out, honestly.
Well, I don't have a copy of Attack of the Herbals in China, do I? It's not like I'm sitting here with any Attack of the Herbals memorabilia.
Well, what would you say, Steve? How would you describe this when your friends were asking you, what are you doing every weekend?
Bitch.
I said I was away doing something else.
Shooting some porn or something more respectable.
Yeah.
God forbid you told the truth.
Yeah, okay, I don't know, because at the time I don't think we really knew what it was. We never thought, we're making a zombie movie, but we knew it was a comedy. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, look at this scene. Liam sees himself in the cup, and honestly, they went back and forward thinking about how they were going to market it. They couldn't get their heads around it because it's a slapstick. Like it's not even a comedy; it's a slapstick comedy.
Dave, it's a slap in the face to the audience. That's what it is. That's slapstick. An insult to people with eyes.
Let me just say this: the poster and all that. Actually,
here come the excuses. Here come the excuses.
When they were selling this at the AFM in America, which is a big thing, this was like the poster and all that made it on the number 5 list of best posters and all that. There was actually a bit of heat about the movie. Obviously, they hadn't seen it. Yeah, the poster, the name,
the poster,
and all that.
The Dave Brown did, not the
one with the teacup and all that. Yeah.
Official Attack of the Herbals
zombie
poster.
one. No, is it not Stephen Callum that's on the animated DVD?
Yeah, they're like.
How did you conceive the scene where Scott Miller's mom is hoovering the grass?
You know what the weird thing is?
That in the script?
Richard, is that people now hoover their grass.
Do they?
Yeah.
I've
been away from Scotland for a long time.
If you got like artificial
I've been away
turf,
a long time.
If you got artificial turf, you now have to, you have to hoover it. It's. I watched that and I'm like, that's so ridiculous. And now I'm like, my God, HERBALS has caught up with us.
But you remember when we went to the cinema for the premiere in Aberdeen, Scott's mum with a Hoover, she actually had a fight with you, Steve. I'm sure it was you. She had a fight with someone with a Hoover was like.
That's right. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because it was meant to be like like the whirling blades of death.
Yeah, and it was like.
But it was a Hoover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the scene in Point Break where they used the lawnmower, but we had the Hoover instead. I love that scene, and to this day, I don't know why it was cut out.
I can't remember. I think there was pacing issues with the movie, and even when the first cut came out,
Dave, there's still pacing issues. You can cut it down as much as you want. There's still pacing issues.
I think.
Dave, remember, I've got a funny story. Remember, we went to Iona's house, Scott's mum, before we filmed the scene, and we said it might get a bit physical. And she said, "Oh, I know judo." And we're like, "Whoa, you're gonna have to throw Steve on the ground." And she grabbed you by the arm, twisted it up your back, and threw you on the ground.
Yeah, I do. Well, I don't remember that bit.
Yeah,
he doesn't remember that conveniently.
I remember asking her why she was tickling me.
Of course.
Or I went, "Ah!"
It's the I remember having to dub
wait
that.
a minute. I got to say, he ran
Easy, Dave.
all the way down. All the way down for ages.
Wow, method actor.
We're like, cut. That's a long way. Anyone who's been to Beacon Hill Beach.
Well, that's dedication and commitment, and you're sitting here mocking him, Dave.
Now,
You didn't have to do that. You did it.
Wait a minute, Steve. I don't know if you remember this. There was a little boy here called Bartek, and I'm sure it was either my brother or someone met him years later. He's like, he still remembers us being there.
Well, he wasn't
I remember that day. I remember that day because that's the day that you made Crazy Dave lick my face repeatedly.
Oh my! And that was cut out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes up and grabs
One of
us.
Dave's
Just to add insult to injury.
Your face licked by Crazy Dave.
That means you're in the club, Steve.
Dave, did you call him Crazy Dave so people didn't get confused on set? So there was two Daves, and you're like, how can we differentiate us? Oh, we'll call him Crazy Dave.
How'd you answer that question?
No.
With the truth?
Let's move on. That's a teddy bear. It's not a real dog.
A teddy bear full of mints.
Yeah.
The magic of cinema.
And that was filmed at my dad's house.
I could really see where you blew that £1,000 budget. Instead of paying the actors, you bought a teddy bear and covered it in mints.
Actually, if I'm more specific, it's one of Lorraine's daughter Morgan's teddy bears.
And she's still looking for it to this day. I'm sure this was one of the extra scenes that you shot.
Yes, I think it was, yeah. I think that's how Jimmy would do it in real life, though, if I'm honest.
O'Brien.
I'm sure I added in the sniff for you, Steve. 'Cause it's so loud in the thing, it's like... Do you still have that costume, Steve?
No, it's long gone. Long gone, I think. I don't know where it is.
Burned to a crisp. Put the ashes in an urn above your fireplace.
I gave the hat to my wife.
The slurps are so over the top from Liam in this scene, honestly. It's like...
What were you sucking for those sound effects, Dave?
Mr. Campbell, you okay? I thought I heard.
There's some scenes, there's just nothing that can be said. There's like no backstory, there's no funny stories. This is no insult to the actors. Well, maybe one of them, but...
I was saying, Liam, we dubbed the slurps in that scene were... That's actually, if you read that, the real graphic accuses Richard of certain crimes.
Which he's probably guilty of.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is my personal torture of Richard.
So let me tell the story about this scene.
Feel free.
We decided to add extra Roadrunner scenes, and David and Liam came up with the concept, and they notified me the day before.
Oh, wait a minute,
right,
wait, before you go into this. Wait, shut up!
Into your face.
Shut up! This was a result of Callum shaving his hair a number 0 for the trim he had at the hairdresser. All these extra scenes.
Okay, so anyway, what happened was I shot all my footage because the lady wasn't there yet. I get fake puke all over me. It was like lemon, marmalade, lemon curd, other substances that I don't even want to talk about, covered in puke. Then I had to sit there for 2 hours, wait for this lady to turn up. Then we filmed all her scenes. I'm getting attacked by bees non-stop because I look like a giant honeycomb. And then we filmed my scenes and the lady scenes together, and then I get covered in blood.
Now, let me say
the worst day of my life.
Let me say this to you,
worst day
Richard.
of my life.
After this, you started accusing me of filming things too slow. Yes?
I told you, Dave, I said, as soon as I get puked on, I said, pick up the pace, get the lady scenes filmed. And Dave's like, how can I film her? She's not here yet. When's she coming? 2 hours time.
In general, I was getting the feedback that I filmed things too slow. Right? Is that true?
No, you were not filming quick enough, boy. That's what I'm telling you. I just sit like that for like 3 hours.
That's funny because fast forward to the Redwood Massacre Annihilation, someone else accused me of the same thing. So I asked...
Dave, that's another commentary, one which I don't care about. What I care about is the awful experience on this film. I'm not caring about the monkeys on your other film. I'm talking about this film.
Right. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway,
this was a real lobster. Did you not know them, Liam? I can't remember now.
Yeah, the McBays. It was a friends of a friend at work, and that was their place.
Now I remember a person from our school, George Keith. He lent us this massive crash mat for what was coming up later. And I have a funny feeling it's still there. It's like £1,000 crash mat. It costs more than the film.
So the original.
they're probably still looking for it.
The original part.
The poor guy got fired.
Alec Westwood's there.
Now, Alec Westwood got actually really badly injured here. We picked him up, flicked him round, but like held his arms in place or something. You'll see it.
Yeah.
Mark Wood as Ball Crusher.
There. He actually apparently still suffers from that incident.
So this was originally written. He died in this scene, and it turned out that him and Bennett were brothers, and it was Bennett that killed him.
My God.
Yeah, but then
these scenes were filmed after we got the money from
extra
Camelot.
money, yeah.
Yeah, so we added in a $10,000 fire effects, as you can see.
Yeah, we didn't actually blow up a boat for that scene, just in case people are.
You didn't? Is that movie magic?
Guy effect.
Did we not have the conversation that when he went back in, he took the sheet down, he had his guns, we had like President Obama and him shaking hands and stuff. Oh, here we go. The beginning of like Hollywood's greatest chase scene.
So
according to TikTok, this is too violent.
Yeah.
I have to say, this is probably the most fun scene in the whole movie, in my opinion. I'm not just saying that because I was in it, but it was a very unique scene. Like, I've never seen a scooter versus wheelchair chase before. It was very unique and fun. But the way that David ended the scene, David literally didn't know how the scene was going to end. And what he wanted was for me and Michelle to face off, come towards each other, then it was going to cut away to something else. And I told David straight, that is shit. And I said, let's think of something else. So we went to the location, there was the traffic cones and the sticks, and I said to David, this is what I think should happen. And I told David what was going to happen, and the end result is one of the best action scenes maybe ever filmed. But I just want to state my claim and try and get my credit, because I didn't get any writing credits.
What? Oh, there's a traffic.
It should have said scooter chase climax written by Richard Cully.
Actually, the traffic cones might have actually just been there. That's true.
They were.
That's true.
That's what I said. They were there, and I improvised, used them.
That's like...
Thank God. He's just been cut off again.
I really wish I'd done that, but no, it's his VPN.
My word, but still,
it gets cut out every 20 minutes.
But regardless, this is like one of the most. This is like, you talk about iconic scenes in movies and things. This is the scene.
Everyone loves this scene.
Yeah, and it's Michelle as well. And it was bang on the same time 10 years ago. And people were talking about the fact that it was like she looked like the Crazy Frog.
And that was Murray's or Michelle's.
It was
wasn't it?
Michelle's a relative scooter.
Yeah, that's right.
So this was the scene where the police turned up. When you see the stick that I throw into Michelle, I was sharpening the stick with an axe,
what was that
and the
stick for,
policeman stuck his head over the fence, and he was like, hello, what's going on here? And we're like, oh, we're just making a film. And then he went, okay, and walked away.
Now,
the stick is like the size of a cricket bat.
now there's another story to this, right?
Probably a lot.
Behind Richard, there's a row of houses where they actually do house various disability people or whatever. And someone saw Richard riding about in the wheelchair and took great offense to
Covered in blood.
which is understandable.
offense
Which
to
is yes. I found out maybe 2 years later. I was in a local Newton Hill pub, and this woman came up to me, and by God, she gave me 2 barrels about that. I was like, "Oh." She was really.
Why was she offended? Why was she offended? What's so
because
offensive
you're
about?
like wheeling past other disability people. Like we're making a movie about. I'm not sure, but she was very offended.
So this version's got the bit of the boy's parents all being killed, isn't it? Or his grandparents dying in the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes up later.
No.
Oh no, wait!
He's cut
The
it
end
out.
of the movie.
He's cut it out.
No, it comes up.
No, he's right.
Does it? Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
No, that's.
Bennett.
Oh
No,
no, that's.
no,
oh,
They
yeah,
return.
okay.
They return to the beach at the end. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
clearly
that-
have
right,
watched this in years.
Before this scene starts, right? Remember, Liam, we got these guns and they fired real blanks, and they were loud. But the shotgun wasn't. Remember where it is? With the shotgun.
Yeah, the shotgun didn't make any noise, but the actual pistol made a lot of noise. But things, remember, it was loud when we shot it out in the open area. We took it to John's Haven. We told them what's going to happen, and the first time that gun got fired off, it echoed off all the buildings, and it was so fucking loud. It was insane.
I remember going to Lee, look, this shotgun is expensive. Please be gentle with it. Cut to 10 seconds later and it's destroyed. He's just like...
That's Gav Park, cameo by Gav Park, falling down the boat.
All of the thing, yeah.
The weird thing is Gav plays a policeman in every film he's ever been in. So it seems.
So he's not being
these-
typecast then, no?
All these people here are always just, there's a heap of them came along to shoot this. Actually, one
Yeah,
of them
that was.
one of them's actually
That's probably the biggest scene we ever filmed in terms of the amount of extras.
Yeah, I think it probably still is. The scientist as well gets his head blown off from the very beginning of the film. Kurt Schwarzenberger.
Oh, that's the same guy. I just noticed that.
Jackson, you're just in time for breakfast.
This is creepy as fuck.
It is.
It's
Granny,
Margaret's just like you're like, ugh.
dear Jackson.
But I don't know where Dave. Where did this come from? The spade.
Dave's gone back to the toilet.
Oh, of course he has.
You're
I
not
didn't
my
even notice.
gran.
Didn't even
Oh,
notice
good.
the director's gone, much like the shoot. I still find it funny.
There you go, Grandma. Take a spade to the face. So, do they go to the church after this?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where they
because
run to,
the
that's-
granddad follows them. Because
literally,
she kills the priest, doesn't she, or something? Is it her that kills the priest?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the heart of the movie when the granddad stays behind to die with his wife.
Yeah. There you
Well,
go.
you just ruined it for me. I may as well go to sleep now.
That's
Titanic
So that's
sinks,
the old
Richard.
guy
Yes,
that
that's, so Richard,
I
that's
was
where
the
you're stunt
stunt double
doubling.
for.
Yeah, it's like
How we got him to do that, I'll
that
never
was
know.
so much fun. Honestly. And it's Morgan.
Now, Steve, this always gets a good laugh when you headbutt her.
The thing is, you don't just headbutt. You're like. It's like,
I'm sure.
You've got to get leverage. You've got to get your leverage.
Steve, I'm sure you came up with the line. Here's the news,
did.
or whatever.
the headline.
Yeah.
You've got to have a line for the trailer.
And this is like one of those ones where I think you had a lot behind the scenes for this, Dave.
Yeah.
Like we're literally just throwing blood all over the place, all over the car and everything.
That was
Lorraine's
the one day when it was warm,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
That was lovely that day. That was the day with the extras. That was the best day ever.
I don't think your mic's on, Liam, by the way.
Is it not?
Dave, you just noticed. You're a filmmaker, and you just noticed his mic's not on.
Definitely not on. Hello?
I can hear you. But you're a bit quiet.
It's just very low.
It's very low.
Testing.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thanks, Richard.
Now, I remember this scene nearly involved, it was either you, Richard, dying, where we had the dummy and we actually put the chainsaw down it and it kicked up and just went by someone's head. You remember that?
What?
The dummy's been in the
What's
wheelchair
that?
the whole film.
He stuck the dummy, the chainsaw, he stuck the dummy, the chainsaw into the dummy and it kicked up and the chainsaw went woof past whoever was holding the dummy.
that.
Yeah, it was because the chain. Yeah.
So I was in the shed, had to start up the chainsaw, sit in the wheelchair, and then Muddy inside the shed pushed me out, and I'm like, whoa! With this actual chainsaw.
No, when you actually stabbed the
Yeah, but
dummy.
Dave, he's just telling you what the
I know,
story is.
but I'm telling
towards
another
that.
story. I'm bringing more stories to the comedy.
Oh, God.
You're getting covered in even more blood. Yeah, let's put more blood on the disabled guy. Let's turn him into Hellboy.
Lorraine, is there any Dave? Is there any of Lorraine's parents that you didn't
Yeah.
kill?
Lorraine here?
Did I kill them both?
I just wonder what happened to Miss McGinty.
It's a good question. That's maybe for the sequel.
Yeah. Oh, there is calls for Tiger Herbals 2 in the comments.
Oh God, no.
Was that my mum?
Adolf!
No.
Adolf!
We call
I
the
like-
priest Adolf. Jeez.
Yeah, we call the only
Yeah.
German person Adolf.
His name was Adolf. What was his last name again? After the sausage.
Hitler, Frank,
Bratwurst.
Frank
Adolf Bratwurst.
Frankfurter is what his name
Frankfurter.
was. Yeah.
Did he really give you a good arm twist there, Steve, or was that just
That
acting?
hurt like fuck. But it was also great acting as well, of course.
It's only because Steve's arm doesn't. They usually get that far up. It's like.
This is the best bit where Steve goes, no, what is it? It's after this where you're like, so the tea isn't.
I love that whole bit. It's just
visual overload.
it's just so like I got so much love for Alan. It's just,
Yeah, this is the trailer line. The tea is the
the
drug.
drag, yeah, it is so well delivered.
Side effects were horrendous.
It's
Yeah.
bad, isn't it? Yeah, it's all that. It's like
The test subjects all went crazy.
And that was Jack, who was playing the main bad guy. But I still bump into an Aztec when we're left.
wow, the celebrity life, Dave.
Tea is the
What happens when you go Asda?
Meet all the celebs.
So, Steve, next time you're up in Aberdeen with coconuts, I'm going to be shouting this for one of your scenes.
Definitely.
And that's bad, isn't it?
That should happen in about 5 or 10 years. Once it's,
The way things are going, yeah.
Was Lee on a night out in Aberdeen? Just had the camera handy.
This is not Mark Wood that runs. I think that's Mark Wood that gets launched.
No, I think he gets here or gets closed. Like there's someone else there. Remember, recognize Andrew Davis. Is that him?
It's Andy Davis.
Andy Davis.
What happens to Lee Hutchins' character? It's never explained.
It's
What
never
happens to
explained
his
now.
character?
No. He died in the original script. He didn't die in this. But it's never explained.
Yeah.
That's what the sequel's got to go into, right?
He's still there, living a guerrilla
Yeah, but the
lifestyle.
sequel never went into it.
Still fighting.
No. I remember the sequel had
Yeah, to this day, he's still
the
fighting.
sequel had Liam being the source of the new tea with a tap in
Yeah.
his chest.
Yeah, no shit. I was selling that
And that was written by Martin Howden. He wrote a whole script.
Let's go.
It was like a.
I thought the tap was in his head.
No, it was in his
The tap-
chest.
It's in his chest.
Where the hole is.
Yeah, and at the end of the movie, you were putting it into the water system of the world or whatever, and there was like a hose, and you were fighting.
The war system of the world.
Well, or whatever, into some kind of water.
Big tap.
Like Batman Begins, but
But
it's just
yous-
the world system.
You were fighting on a hose, so the goodie, or I think it was Steve actually, you had to keep on stepping on the hose to stop the The tea.
The blood.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
I read that script and I was like, this is an amazing script. It's just going to cost me like £1 billion to do.
I think the last thing the world needs right now is a sequel to Attack of the Herbals.
Well, I don't know.
The thing is, Richard, that's what the world was begging for 6 months ago.
What the world needs now is Herbals 2.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sure, that's going to solve everyone's problems.
We need to do a Kickstarter and
But
at
the end of
least
it-
get 30 quid and let's make the second
At
one.
the end of it, it'd be like a Rocky
Well,
4.
if we get more than £1,000, because we made the first one for £1,000.
Okay.
Oh, now we get 2,000.
Yeah, but-
£1 each.
As long as
Okay,
we can
yeah.
afford a pound a mint and a teddy bear, we'll be okay.
Like, I think we're all at the age now where we'd be like, can we at least get some money for making a movie?
Really?
Yeah, true.
You're at that stage, Dave?
Well, I'm nearly there, but I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this anymore.
Wow.
Now, I remember this was back 10 years ago, Netflix. They actually, there was like a test. They were going to put this on Netflix and they did this weird test with it and it failed, but they ended up putting it on. It's when Netflix were still,
Was it a
What was the
script?
test? What?
what it was, I can't remember because remember Netflix were still posting out DVDs back then. And the online thing was just coming, and the distributors like they want to. Can you send all these promo stuff for this film because they want to see what they can get out of the promo? And I was like, well, I don't have any promo images. I've just got like stills from the movie. And then they got back and said, yeah, it's not getting on.
Well, you should have sent stills of me. That would have convinced them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought this was actually quite a nice scene. Jimmy and Margaret did pretty good there.
Yeah, it was quite an emotional beat
But then
for
I'm
a film
assuming,
like
like,
to give some emotion to it.
like, what did he do? Did he
He
kill
killed
her?
her.
Or, but then
Well,
what did he do?
In the original script, he killed her with a shotgun and then he killed himself because he didn't want to live without her.
Basically like a pitchfork.
That's right.
He's got a
yeah,
pitchfork
that's
in
right,
this,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, that's kind of a horrible way to go.
So he forks his wife and then he forks
chose
himself.
the most painful way to kill his wife that he loved.
No, but you know what? It was still in the shooting script that he had a gun, but for some reason we couldn't get the gun, remember?
Probably
We're
broken.
like,
He
whatever.
probably broke it.
Yes, it's Lee's shotgun.
Yeah, and this is Claire's mom. Whatever her name is in the movie. She's like, a noise. I'm going to check this out.
Yeah.
It's like you singing or something, isn't it?
I have no idea. We did so much ADR for this; it was insane. Because I did the ADR for Captain.
Sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit. Gratuitous ass shot.
That's Liam you're talking about there. Be nice.
Yeah.
That's his face,
So-
for God's sake.
I'm so glad that Claire was so like ridiculously light.
That's special effects, folks, for anyone who's watching. Now, we shot this whole end sequence in 2 days, I remember.
Yeah, it was in
like-
February.
Was it not
It was lovely
one
and
day,
warm down
was
on the
it?
beach.
No, it was 2 days we had.
Yeah, it was definitely two.
Fun fact, I suffer from ulcerative colitis, and on this day I had the most spectacular wind ever. It was awesome.
You're-
I thought the smell was coming from the sea. Was that you, yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
like
don't
a
worry,
fish.
Steve. You weren't the one stinking up the scene, really.
no.
Yeah, that person comes later when he kills Bennett.
Kills.
So,
Kills.
Liam, how did you feel being killed by me? Was there any, like,
Oh,
did you
nah.
feel like maybe you didn't want me to kill
No.
your character?
Richard, genuinely, right?
Or were
Genuinely.
you happy?
No, genuinely, of all the people that I wanted in this film to kill me, I'm delighted it was you. And that's honest to God. You're an old friend of mine, and your character's actually like one of the iconic ones. I didn't want to be killed by fucking Callum. You know, I want to be killed by the Roadrunner.
Well, I was actually happy to kill you, Liam.
Oh,
not
thanks,
through
Richard.
friendship. It's one of my fantasies in life to kill you.
But you've killed me many times in your fantasies.
Now,
Did
Oh,
you say
yes.
killed?
Remember Claire. Remember, guys. Claire came up and says, "Look, if you're using blood, do not put it in Callum's eyes because he's got like
David,
eyes."
this is the one direction I remember this movie was David was like, put it in his eyes.
I was like, splat it down there, guys. And it goes right in his eyes.
Pulls up from one of the eyeballs.
It doesn't go anywhere but his eyes.
Big giant Nutcracker man.
Yeah, we're talking about blood, by the way, not the money shot that David covered at the end of the movie.
Big giant Nutcracker man in the comments wants to say Revenge of the Herbals or The Herbal Strikes Back
This
indigestion.
is such a ridiculous punch.
That's a good name for the movie.
Fucking stop it!
You knew Callum and Claire, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah, through just like amateur theatre and something like that up in Aberdeen. Yeah.
Like, it's just that bit always makes me laugh, and you're like, "Fuck you!" Like punching it. All that was just basically thrown together. I remember because we're literally like, "What line would you give back?" You're like, "Well, fuck you."
I tell you what, Richard, were you doing the focus for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did. I tell you what, you did a good job in the focus because remember this camera was like full frame.
Richard, make sure you record that.
It wasn't 35
An
millimeter. It was
amateur
full.
actor and amateur focus puller, and I was able to pull off one of the jobs successfully.
Well, let's not talk about what you did pull off. And
Again with the money shots. Here's another gratuitous ass shot. God, he's clattered in blood there. He's absolutely covered in blood. He gets another splash in his face.
He does. It's right in
This
your...
is the one that goes in his eyes.
Yeah.
David literally told me to shoot it in his eyes. I did.
In the world.
Don't put it in his eyes.
Look where the focus. The camera shot is right on his eyes. But yeah, this is that. I remember David. Remember me and you were talking about this. It's like I was saying to you, like let's make it like the Penguin and Batman Returns, and like have the blood, like because everyone's so worried about having blood on them, and I was like, I want to be like Richard was head to toe. I'm head to toe. We wanted to be covered in blood. It was like it makes the movie.
Makes you look more heroic.
It's so cool.
His face.
I remember David's direction to me, after you throw the spear, I want you to shout. And I'm like what, David? And David said, go like this. And that's what I did.
So funny. What's so funny about this is like Steve and Callum are not even got a touch of blood on them.
Wait a minute.
Steve's not got a touch of blood on them.
Guys,
Like,
the boat was supposed to work.
yeah.
here.
You're supposed to leave. You're supposed to
How
leave
did
with
you get the wheelchair in the boat? That was never explained. How did you get the wheelchair? So they carried the wheelchair into the boat, and then they carried me into it.
No, just
and
all-
put me back in a
But wait,
wheelchair.
I've also got to say that I'm sure Steve, you're stunt doubled there by the actual boat owner.
Yeah, you are. You are. The
Yeah.
final shot. The final shot.
Never even made it out into the boat.
I need to give a shout out to Lair Kodos because the music's arguably better than the movie.
I wanted to say that as well. I want to say.
Yeah,
So one thing I mentioned
what it
was
deserves.
you remember the Roadrunner scene when he's doing the track run. She was like, I have the perfect music for that.
Yeah.
This is like porn music. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, she nailed it.
Yeah,
There was
and it worked out perfectly, yeah.
so many. All of these people came for nothing, and they thought it was going to be an amazing movie.
Kathleen.
Yeah.
Kathleen's giving
I mean,
a shout out as well. Kathleen,
look at the
just said they
credits.
love working
Look
on
at
the
the
film.
credits, they run on for a long time. There's not one apology from David to the audience.
We actually
Sorry for
shot.
wasting
We
your
actually.
time. And you accidentally picked this DVD
Guy,
up and you
this
were
guy.
expecting a feature film.
I'm sorry, Kathleen. We
This
were going to
guy,
say we
what? This
actually
guy
shot.
that here made this film. This
Someone
guy,
mute
yeah.
him. Someone mute this guy. We actually shot a bigger scene with Kathleen.
In the
Remember
playground.
swings? Yeah, in the
Yeah, the playground. Yeah.
Yes, that was awesome, that scene.
Yeah, and he swung. You just swing the swing at her and hit her in the face.
Yeah.
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 The residents of Newton Hill and Joneshaven.
Richard's been muted.
You still have all this missing footage.
Yeah, I've still got all the
Cool.
footage.
It's gonna be included in the Attack of the Herbals 10-year anniversary extended director's cut.
Yeah, I could probably do a Blu-ray, I guess,
Oh,
but
thank you for unmuting. That was so good.
Mute him again. Right.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Is there
No,
any?
fuck
Is
that.
there anyone watching that's got any questions? And we'll ask some. We'll answer some.
Yeah, what the
That's
fuck were you smoking?
admirable.